We're live. Hey everybody, welcome to Trail Talk Live from Nevada in America with him.
Yo!
We're here. It's another weekly Trail Talk Live. Let's give people time to get into the show. In the meantime, you can think about our sponsors, XMiles. You can use the discount link in the bio. The old discount code, I Run Over Mountains, no longer applies. You need to use the link. Get it in the bio. If you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, get it in the description. If you can't stick around for all of the show, that's cool. You can catch up on Spotify, Apple, YouTube from tomorrow. All of it will be very relevant still, because today we're going to talk about Broken Arrow, the trip, the vibes, Palisades and Tahoe,
The weather.
and the big dance next weekend because we're in race week.
Yeah.
So
Very exciting.
we're going to get into that. Before we crack into the news, start of race week. How are the legs feeling just before we crack into it?
Yeah, so went for a shakeout run this morning, like 6k, some strides, felt good, felt sharp, ready to go.
The man's ready, and you've not much else on the agenda.
Nah, a few easy runs, a few strides. Rodeo tonight.
We're going to get into that later on. Save that for later. Let's start the show with some of the news. We want to talk a bit about Broken Arrow, which was just this past weekend. I arrived Thursday night, straight into it Friday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a full weekend of it. Great crack. Let's run through just some of our thoughts. This is not a results show. How boring would that be? We're going to just talk about some of the vibes and some of the things that we enjoyed. First off, the thing that I would say is I just think the whole weekend had a great buzz. The town itself would be, I mean, it's not even a town. It's like an event village or a ski village. So, if you compared it to Chamonix, it would be like a much better version of Chamonix Sud.
Yeah.
There's just like apartments and a few shops, and that's it. But the event was really well put on. The merch, the brand activations were great, and I just think it was really well put together sort of business plan by Brendan Madigan from Alpenglow Sports. What did you think of the event?
You see, I've been here before you, so I've got to see the Palisades empty. So I was up there and there was no Broken Arrow, there was no nothing, and it was so quiet. And I know it's a ski resort, so this time of the year there's not much snow up there, so there's nobody skiing up there. So it was like a huge turnaround from what I saw last week to then this weekend, and like the buzz was class. It was like a little mini UTMB week, it's like a very condensed Chamonix, like, you know what I mean? You've got all the brands there, you've got all the athletes there, you've got all the fans, you've got all the runners. It was a savage weekend.
And it was really compact, because if you think about, let's just use Chamonix and, one of the big events there, Mont Blanc Marathon, say, smaller than UTMB. The walk between the start, finish, the shops, the expo, the registration, it's, you put 20,000 steps in a day easy without a run-in. Whereas the registration was about 20 metres from the finish line. All the brand stalls were right beside the finish line. The coffee shops were to the other side of the finish line. So you could, if you hadn't done any steps and you just arrived there, you would do feck all walking and you would have everything at your fingertips.
Yeah, and if you want to cheer or you want to crew, like where you would do that is literally behind all that it's only like 100 meters away, less than 100 meters away. You got to see all the runners come down the last descent on the 23k loop. And it was very accessible to go watch, see, crew, do everything. It was so well done.
Yeah, awesome. I think it would be nothing without the event. If it wasn't, people weren't there skiing or there for a race, it would be nothing. So I wouldn't recommend going and staying there.
Only a very cool thing is, like, we're staying in Reno. We're in Reno now, and like, it's chalk and cheese. It's like when you're here and you're running out on the trails here, it's like you're in the middle of the desert. Then you go an hour up the road and it's alpine country. It's like the high country. It's snow, big mountains, kind of like Euro vibes on with the trails. The trails are kind of very European. So it's so cool to have that variety only an hour away from here.
Yeah, and yeah, I totally agree with that. What about then some of the racing? Friday night we hiked up on the VK course, or the mini VK course, or the half VK course, whatever it was. It was about 500 meters. We hiked up to close to the finish. I had that wonderful special moment with Killian. You know, we looked each other in the eyes and just shared a special moment. And but we saw, you know, some great performances there. Christian Allen, what a rocket. He had a great weekend. What did you think about the VK and that event? The ascent, we'll call it.
Yeah, it was really cool because we actually like followed the course all the way up from the bottom. We got there early. We got there at silly o'clock in the morning. We hiked up and we picked ourselves a lovely spot where we could see the runners coming across the ridge. We could actually see them running up the fire road. It was a great position to see the race. And then the race itself, super cool. As you know, we're super fans of the sport. We're super fans of Killian, Christian, all of the runners. And like, I gotta say, the mullet is incredible. Hey, I've never seen anything quite like it.
Is it too extreme?
I think he gets away with it. I think he pulls it off. In some strange way, he pulls it off. And if you win a race looking like that, you get the go ahead.
That's true. Like if he was last, it would just look stupid. In fact, I think I saw somebody who was like a total back of the packer who had a similar-ish haircut, and he wasn't carrying it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out Slim the Runner on Instagram for the best.
Worst. I don't know how.
It's like if there was a caricature of a mullet. That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
Killian, F- in the ascent. Absolute dirt of a run. 21st when he passed us, and we thought it was going to be a walk in the park for him.
Yeah.
Apparently, jet lag and what was the other thing? GI issues or something. Or a cold. It was something funny from the travelling. I saw him in Reno Airport. He wasn't sniffing. Didn't have a wee tissue on his nose. So I don't know.
Yeah, but like again, you're travelling. He's coming a long way. You literally saw him in the airport. So the both of you were after getting off the plane at the same time.
I was fine. I was up the ascent before him.
Yeah, but how did you feel? How did you actually feel on your first day here in the Palisades with the altitude? With the hiking, how did you feel?
Also, my first run was with you going up the ascent about 12 hours after arriving into the country after a 31-hour trip from Sydney. How did I feel? I didn't feel great.
So there you go. Like, I know, look, Killian is Killian, but still, he has travelled that far, and I know he's superhuman, but you still have those effects, like, you know. So maybe he did feel a bit shit. Altitude might have just been hitting him a little bit, and I wouldn't read too much into it. I still be backing Killian this weekend. You know what I mean? So, look, I'll tell you what it does. It creates a great conversation around it because people are like now thinking, "Oh man, what happened, Killian? Maybe Killian is not as fit as we thought he was. Maybe he's not as great as we thought he was." So it makes it for an exciting weekend this weekend.
I had to take a bit of stick because of Killian's performance. You know, oh, he's not going to be anywhere. Like, how do you feel about it? You know, like, it means nothing. It kind of means nothing. If it says one thing to me personally, of course I'm biased because I can't help but being biased. But what it says to me is his ego isn't fragile. He still towed the line knowing, you know, sure, I'll give it a go.
Yeah. What about the look? Are we going to talk about the look?
The look?
The look.
What about it?
The look of love. The look of love you got from Killian. I seen it. I actually seen it. I like bust out laughing. I says, my God, we will never hear the end of this. This book shouting, die, Adam. Die, Killian, die, Killian, die, Killian. And Killian gives him this look. Oh, man, incredible.
But So for those watching or listening, that is go 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 in Italian, and I was just deciding to say that instead of alla just for some difference. And I was doing it the whole way up. Like Killian was obviously 21st when he passed us, but I was going die 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 to everyone going past, and there was one Italian that went past prior, and he actually said grazie. So he acknowledged, he was like, oh, Italian vibes, sweet.
Yeah, but Killian might have been saying, what is this strange combination of Italian and Irish? Because I think that's what made him laugh and smile.
I might have been running out of steam, and instead of going die, 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 I think I just said die, Killian. Yeah. And he heard that with an English accent, an Irish accent, and thought, you fecker. So that could have been it, but...
Well, Killian, don't worry. He is your biggest fan, okay? He wasn't asking you or telling you to die.
We love you. You're amazing. Last takeaway from the ascent. Anything from you?
No, not so much, no.
What about Ali Mack? That was a really poor showing from her. And this was a qualifier for the uphill, and she was a previous uphill world's champion.
Yeah, maybe she was looking at it. It did look a bit strange. I was expecting her to be a lot closer to the top, but she did run well in the Golden Trail race, and she was already qualified for the world's team to go to Canfranc with the race, I think 2 weeks ago. So maybe that was still in her system this weekend. So I'm still saying I'm a fan of Ali. And I expect big things out of her this year as well at the Worlds.
Right. I think she's too inconsistent for me to get behind her. I certainly like her as a personality, but I wouldn't dare put her in my fantasy picks with the consistency that she's sort of had. Just seeing Chrissy in the chat, Anna Gibson over Joyce in the ascent. Yeah, we're not really going into results, but I did think Anna had a great weekend, and she was very smart in the 23k, which we'll come to later on. So 26k, couple of takeaways. That course, 2 loops of the 23k course, that's a hard 46k. Like that, it's so fast, that long fire road or access road descent. Like you're flying down it. I've got this sore, dodgy ankle, and I was coming down at like low 4-minute Ks, and these guys and girls are absolutely bombing down it, and then have to take into another lap.
Yeah.
Easy to ruin yourself.
And the climb after that then as well. The climb all the way up to the ladder. It's a horrible climb, and then another huge descent off that as well. It's full gas. It's smashing the quads. It's hammering the glutes. It's hammering the hamstrings. It's a legitimate course. I do think I ran a good lot of it over the weekend, chasing runners, having the crack, and just being a super fan and running around the course and hitting spots pretty fast. And I thought, man, it would have been fun to be racing this weekend. That's the kind of course I like, and it would have been super fun.
I absolutely would sign up for Broken Arrow if I was coming back for States. Yeah. I would sign up and do one of the races. And I think the 46, I don't know, it might be nice just to do the 23 and do one lap, do it a bit harder, and not have to come through that crewing and transition and all that stuff. Another comment on the 46, Eli smashed it obviously, but Eli and David, first and second, taking their tickets for world champs. And I think the main takeaway I wanted to point out here is they're both doing CCC, and that seems like I can't think of a better way other than saying arse about face strategy of doing CCC. And then how many weeks later is it? 3?
3 weeks.
What did you think of that potential turnaround?
Oh, I'm sure I'm not alone in saying this, and I'd say that the Team America are even sort of saying, are you boys actually going to do CCC? Because, you're after qualifying for the World's team. Is it not a high-risk situation that you have no legs in 3 weeks' time, and Team America doesn't perform well at World Champs? But look, I 100% know why they're doing it, because of sponsorships, because a lot of sponsors don't really care about the world champs. That's just the short and long. That's just the way it is. It's like big brands aren't allowed to show their name, show their branding at world champs. If there's any sort of branding on any clothes, you have to tape it up. That's just the way it is at world champs. So sponsors don't technically care about the worlds, and athletes, unfortunately, they need to get paid. They need to get paid. So it's probably like in the contract, you're racing CCC and there's nothing you can do about it. I admire the fact that the boys want to have a go and they're saying it's okay, we're fit, we're strong, we'll get through CCC and we'll be able to perform at the Worlds. I take my hat off to them, fair play to them for wanting to go, because they're also understanding how big of an honour it is to represent your country. So I respect the two lads for that.
And David Sinclair, he runs for Kraft, and I believe they do pay bonus, or not bonuses, there is a financial reward for competing at Worlds. It's not as big as a bonus that you would get for CCC, but potential double payday as well. So got to maximise the revenue whenever you are a pro athlete, I guess. You're not going to make it in salary alone.
Yeah, and do you know what? 3 weeks, if they manage it right, these are pro athletes. They're the elite of the elite, right? Like, race hard. Don't do a whole pile in between the two races. All you need to do is get through that race injury free. You can recover, and you can have legs. So don't say that they're not going to be in good shape either, because they could easily turn that around and be ready to go again. These are seriously fit lads.
Yeah. All right, 23K, the Golden Trail World Series event. Remy out before the event. He's got a stress fracture in one of his bones in the leg, I believe. But Elisine did it again. The camel, the assassin, just runs behind, and they all run together. He runs with run together, and then he pulls out and goes for the win on the descent. I kind of love it. What do you make of it?
Very cool to see this actually happen in front of your eyes. Whereas you and me were kind of split up, because I was doing a run and you were videoing, and we'll say you were further down the trail, and I was up at K22, so one of the very first summits, and I got to see the leaders come through. And again, Elisine was doing what he does. He was sitting in third. He was looking strong. He was looking at his watch. He was checking the pace. He looked very comfortable. Then fast forward to, I'd say, the last descent, and I had perched myself just on a little bit of single track. You were a little bit further down, because I'm going to ask you about that, where you were sitting. Me and you were literally like 10 foot away from each other, but we didn't see each other. We hadn't a clue. But when I seen him there, he was then starting to make the move from third up. He was just waiting and waiting, and he's like a sniper in the long grass. He just bides his time, and he always backs the kick that he has.
Yeah. So, as you say, it was so great to see that up close and personal, seeing when he was pushing, and there was Philemon did try to break, and Elisine stayed with Patrick, but then he made the choice that he needed to go too, and then they dropped Patrick, and they come off that single track. They crossed the route that goes up towards the escarpment, and it was all descent from there, some single track, some access road, and he absolutely gunned it. So that was amazing. The other takeaway then I want to just point out was great to see Joyce back after basically she's hardly had a good run since signing with Normal. So the whole Normal gang were there. Obviously Killian there. Killian was out on course doing the gram, and Elisine won. Joyce won. Amazing. Yeah,
great. And again, she led from the gun. She led the whole race. She was, even when I met her at the top of that K22 again, she was in the lead. Not by much. It was close enough between first and second, but to lead that race from the gun, it's pretty impressive. And do you know what? She looked really good on the descents as well. Looks like she's improved her downhill running, because look, she's fast. She's fast on that very sort of flat, rolly, non-technical trail, but it's good to see that she's getting better on that really technical stuff. And look, maybe the start of a ball rolling for her this year.
Yeah, and Elisine and Joyce were wearing different shoes. It looked like Elisine was wearing the updated Sherag, or the ultra version of the Sherag, which is coming, and Joyce was wearing the more low profile original, maybe in a new colorway. That was interesting. Then where I was perched watching, it was maybe 4K, 5K from the finish.
Yeah, I would say 5. Say 5, yeah.
And out of all of the runners coming through, Joyce was really smooth over that slick rock, gravel, mountain bike terrain. She was really confident, looked really good, and even some of the comments on the reel that I posted about how well her running looked. And one last thing on that race, every runner that came through wearing Brooks shoes slipped. Every one of them slipped on the slick rock, and I'm not sure what it was. In fact, there's only one person that didn't, and it was Anna Gibson. Every other runner, guy, girl, whatever, they slipped going down that. So anyway, look, we're gonna crack on. You guys have submitted a ton of questions about the trip, states, whatever. Some fun ones. We've split them up into sections, so we'll jump around them. If you can't stick around, you can catch up tomorrow on all the podcast players. You know where to get it by now. If you want to check out some of the highlights from Broken Arrow that we've been talking about, go and check the profile or his profile after. We got some reels up, and let's hit some questions.
Yep.
All right. I haven't read through many of these. I just copied and pasted them out. But we'll start off with gear and brands is what I've titled it. So run through your gear for states, and what can you tell us about a shoe?
So, like for me, obviously Hoka runner, so I'm after getting a nice little white kit for the race. Again, it's totally up to me if I want to wear it or not, so more than likely I am, because it's white and it's hot, so I have an all white kit. I'm wearing a new shoe. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you anything about this shoe.
You should have held it up and kind of half hit it.
It's a prototype shoe at the minute, and that's all I can say about it. Although I am very, very looking forward to ripping through the trails on the most famous trail in the world, I think. So I'm excited to race in that shoe. I've put a few miles in it. Feels really good. It's fast. I'm excited.
It's a Hoka shoe. If you're just dying to know more about it, there has been a conversation in Trail Talk WhatsApp, and Ricky hasn't been part of it, but people have been kind of trying to guess what is this shoe. So join the group and ask some questions. Next question, ice bandana.
Yeah, you've got one, I've got one. We'll put them on.
Let's look like knobs. Put on your ice bandana. Yeah. And we're now sitting like a couple of sailors.
So this is the new ice bandana from East Peak. It's like, what's special about this is it's weighted. So when you do fill it with ice, it's supposed to stop bouncing up and down, because what I've noticed since I've been here, I've been training in something other than this, and it's bouncing around, it's making a lot of noise, and it can actually be uncomfortable, because when it starts bouncing around, it's choking you. So the whole idea of this is it's weighted here, and then there's little bits of I don't know what you want to call it, like silicone, to keep it in place as well, to sort of stop moving around. So hopefully it won't be choking me on race day. And the ice is supposed to melt slightly slower than what it does in a normal ice bandana. Now these are going to be everywhere at States, because I know that your mate Killian, because I'm calling him his mate now because he gave him that little smile, Killian is wearing one, Rod Farford's wearing one, to name but a few. I think this is going to be the ice bandana of choice for all the pros.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I bought mine. He did not. But I bought mine because of David Lamb, because he said Killian has bought two. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, it's good enough for Killian, it's good enough for me.
If Killian jumped in a river, that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
We'd be jumping in rivers on Saturday.
True.
There you go. So on the ice bandana thing, what can you say about the cooling strategy for States for the race?
Look, again, race is going to be super hot. And maybe not as hot as some years, maybe a little bit cooler. I don't know. I'm Irish. It's going to be hot. Cooling strategy is stay wet for as long as possible. But on this course, there's loads of aid stations. There's loads of opportunity to get drowned in water and loads of opportunity to get ice on board. So I will be making sure that I'm keeping myself wet. I'll be wearing a short sleeve top because I want, instead of a vest, because I want more material touching my skin that's wet. Okay, chafing is going to be an issue, but I'm using like anti-chafe. I'm using squirrel's nut butter. It's working well for me here.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. I usually don't suffer with that many chafe issues. The only issue I'd ever have with chafe is my pack moving around on my back. I won't be using a pack. So I'm just hoping that running wet and cold will keep will keep my core temperature down, and I'll be able to run fast,
Yeah, okay. Next question. What shoes did you bring for the trip? So I'll go first. I brought 2 pairs of shoes. I brought the Rocker by Satisfy because I just got it a week before coming out here, and I need to get some miles on it for a test. I think the embargo lifts on that shoe tomorrow, but certainly before the weekend. So you're probably going to find out more about it, and I should probably film some content about it since the embargo's about to lift. And then I also brought the 005, which has been good because I've been running every day and I've been swapping between the 2 shoes, and yeah, definitely using the 005 for pacing. And I've added in the new Sidus Trail insole, which I bought to try and just give a little bit more, less ground feel, therefore a little bit more protection. What about you? What have you been training in? Because you've been here for weeks.
Yeah, well, just before you leave, I know you're under embargo. I'm not with the Rocker. I just want to say that, that's my first time. You coming here. He brought the shoes in their own little suitcase. Like they come in. Yeah, you can show this anyway. They come in a little bag, like a little sleeping bag for the shoe to keep it. I don't know, to keep it warm. But it is a very good looking shoe. The grip looks solid on it. Yeah, I was excited to see that shoe because I was always thinking that the way that the lacing goes to the side, and normally I'm not a fan of that look, but it looks good in that shoe, and it seems to fit really well, like almost like a sock around your foot. So yeah, that could be a very good shoe. I'm looking forward to hearing what you say about it, the more miles you put into it.
Watch this space.
Yeah, in terms of me, I basically brought 2 pairs of shoes with me. So I bought the Mafate Speed Light and I bought the Tecton X3. I don't really need to say much more about Tecton X3. It's been out a long time. It's my favourite trail shoe. It's my favourite race shoe of choice until I test out this new shoe. But like the Tecton X3, great shoe. It's a super fun shoe to run in for me. The Mafate Light has been a shoe that has really surprised me. It's like I got it and it was been sold kind of as a leisure wear shoe and not really as a training shoe, but I think they've now brought out another line of colours and it's been sold as an actual trail running shoe and not just a lifestyle shoe.
Initially a Satisfy collab.
Yeah, because it is the same, right? It is the very same, just a different colourway in the Mafate Speed Light. I do like it. It's got the original Mafate Speed outsole on it, so it's got that 5mm lug, got loads of protection on the foot, got loads of grip, but the upper is way lighter, way cooler looking as well, and I like a shoe that's good to look at.
Alright, what's next?
No, in terms of shoes, that's it. I brought a pair of Bondis for running on the road. I think I've done 1 road run since I got here, so
Why would you?
Yeah, exactly. Trails for days here. This is trail heaven. On you, I suppose a question for you would be, what brands have you seen at Broken Arrow this weekend that have excited you? Like, is there any new shoe? I know there's one shoe you want to talk about, probably.
Oh, well, I mean, I stuck up on the Trail Talk broadcast channel a picture of the Shurag with the kind of the ultra foam. Looks very like the 005 in terms of kind of structure of a shoe. Looks like it's got that great padding around the heel that the original Shurag had. I hope they've kept the tongue the same, which is like a Swedish type material. So I'm hoping that that's the, what do you call it? Maybe you don't say this, but the normal cadena or Shurag cadena, which is Spanish for the mountain or something, or it means mountain in Spanish or some term. So we think maybe that could be that shoe. We know there's a Sharag update coming in July, but this other cadena is perhaps the start of the year. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, the foam does kind of resemble the 005. It looks similar, like in that sort of clean foam, if you know what I mean. There's no real. It's just like a big white outsole, and it looks very soft, and it looks springy.
Yeah,
Almost looks like that TPEE. Is that what you call it?
well, yeah. So the 005 is made with Arnatel. I wonder, which is the brand of a type of foam. I wonder have Normal used that foam, but like we could be getting into the weeds here at this point.
Yeah.
Something else I saw at the event. Never Second have like a frozen gel, so you buy these gels. It has some other chemical in it, allows you to freeze it, and it's a bit like an ice pop. But I'm not sure if that's just to keep it cool until you take it. I don't think you're like taking it as an ice pop because it would take you forever.
I think it is. I think it's like I don't know, for any Irish listener out there, I call that a Mr. Freeze. It looks like a Mr. Freeze. It is like
the Americans will know what you're talking about.
So it's like an ice pop, and I think you just pull it open and you can maybe, I don't know, take a bite out of it, and it's like you're eating an ice pop.
And I think the theory behind that is that you're going to consume this frozen or very, very cold liquid, goes down into your stomach, and that's a great way of lowering your core body temperature.
Yeah.
So
it's a great idea. I think like the thinking behind it makes sense. Whether it works or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
Am I going to try it on race day? I don't think so. Just because I haven't used one. We got a few of them as samples the other day, but by the time we got around to thinking about taking them, they'd gone soft, and it was like, we need to get back and freeze them again.
I might test it on race day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be going long enough to have
GI issues.
Yeah, thanks. I was going to be more crude on that one. Let's move on. Got to talk about some food routines. These are some other questions that have come in. So, Ricky, what's been the breakfast routine here in America?
The breakfast routine is me waking up and making him coffee and making him bagels. That's the routine so far. He's only here 3 days, and I've made him breakfast every morning.
And the reason is because I'm taxi driver here. I'm doing all the driving, so the least I can get is a free coffee.
Crew. Who's crewing who?
You're crewing me for breakfast, so that's it. Other question, short one. Have you had a breakfast burrito? It's very American. Very
No breakfast burrito. No breakfast. I have had a few burritos. Chris, who we're staying with, makes a mean burrito. He used to own a Mexican restaurant. These are like things I'm learning every day, and he made us a few burritos. Now look, and I'm back to being pretty strict with how I'm to eat, and I like to eat a certain way before a race. So I'm going to save my burritos for after the race. At the minute, you know me, I'm either bagel, peanut butter and jam, or porridge, and the porridge is back on.
That's the next question. How much porridge did you bring with you, or what's been what's the porridge strategy? The porridge is the gold that got you through the TDS training camp.
Yeah. So we're back with the porridge, but it's instant oats. Like at the time when I bought them, I didn't know I was buying instant oats. I thought I was just buying a box of oats, but they're instant oats. But they're good. They taste good. I don't know. It's America. They'll be riddled with chemicals for all I know, but they're good. I'm eating them.
This is America, baby. Everything has to be instant.
Yeah.
We have no time for normal oats. They need to be instant oats.
Yeah, people don't own ovens except microwave ones.
I know, actually, I can remember who asked this next question. Have you had proper tacos yet?
Yeah, well, we went for tacos Saturday, yeah. And Aaron was eating with his eyes, I think, because you definitely ate your fair share of tacos.
Well, the reason being, right, like a taco was $5, and normally if you're in the UK or Europe and you're getting tacos or something and they're $5 or $3 or $4 or $5, you would get 3.
Yeah,
that would equate to the same price as a main meal. Therefore, that's the quantity of food, the grammage, whatever. So I thought, okay, well, you must need to get 3. Then I was thinking, well, it's America. Maybe 1 is bigger, so maybe it's 2. And then you never want to be under fueled. You always want to be over. You can leave a bit. You can't add a bit on. So I got 2 tacos and an enchilada, which only told, what was it, like $17 for dinner, and it was massive. But I had it all.
Yeah, you did. But that's because you're Irish, and we were told by our mammies to never leave food behind us.
Yeah.
But they were good, I gotta say. Like, I had I don't know, like a taco and an enchilada, both vegan, really, really good, really, really tasty. So they were amazing, yeah. Because look, for most of it, like, my wife said to me, "Look, you're going to America," and I'm terrible at trying new things because I like keeping everything the same, boring all eating and boring all this, that, and the other. And she was saying, "You're going to America. America is the home of like eating out and pigging out and eating these amazing things." So I'm trying to like get the odd thing in so that I don't leave America missing the fact that I didn't have something, you know.
You can pig out on Sunday.
Yeah.
Next question, I'm going to tackle it first. Is the tea any good? No. The tea is rubbish. The tea that Ricky has made me has been absolutely rubbish, and it's the tea bag's fault, not his, to the point that I'm not even bothering with tea. And if he had told me, I would have brought tea bags. If you just shared that information, I would have brought decent tea bags.
True.
We could have been sitting here having a cup of tea.
Barry's tea or something, yeah.
Yorkshire tea even.
Yeah, we're drinking English breakfast tea. It's decaf because that's what I drink. I drink decaf tea, but it is shocking. It's you pour a drop of milk into it, and it just looks like the milk that you poured into it, you know. But I'm drinking it. Every evening, maybe 2 or 3 cups of it. It's all about staying hydrated.
Yeah, and I see Sean in the chat saying America is a coffee country. Yeah, and you bought English tea bags. It's Twinings tea bags, but it's shite.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can't spend too much time on this. Back to the race. Back to training and performances, the next category. How are the nerves?
Look, for me, like, this is one race where I have no nerves. There is no nerves because I just have excitement brewing inside me, you know, because, look, I'm realistic. This is not a race that I expect to win, right? So I'm not expecting to win this race. So then straight off the bat, there is no nerves. But I am expecting to have a great day. I am expecting to enjoy every minute of it. And I am expecting to try and run as well as I can. Where that puts me in the field, I don't know. But let's just try and have a good day.
Talk a little bit about the mentality, because regardless of anything, like, this is Western States, there will be nerves and jitters at some point. How do they manifest themselves with you? We all have our, like, I'll kick it off. If I was nervous, I'd be running to the toilet. It goes to my stomach if I'm nervous. What happens to you if you're nervous, or what are the nerves?
For this race or in general?
In general.
Maybe an extra toilet break or two, or just before pre-race nerves. But I mean, to be honest with you, I never really get that, like, nervous, sick feeling in my stomach. I never really get that. I suppose maybe you could say it's a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of that, but it'd only be very small, you know. It'd only be until the gun goes, and then once the gun goes, and not that there's a gun, right? But you know what I mean.
There actually is a gun.
Yeah,
there is. It's Western States. There is a gun.
Yeah. And once you get the legs spinning, and that's all out the window, you know. Then it's just racing, you know. And that's kind of how I feel about this weekend. This weekend is just racing. It's just me doing what I love doing, and seeing what I can do against some of the best runners in the world, and seeing where I can put myself in that field of world-class runners.
Good question in the chat from Brian. More or less nerves than TDS. So
just sheer excitement, because I've dreamed of running this race for so long, you know, and I just can't wait to actually be on the course, in the race, alongside those small numbers, but yet a stacked field, you know. But also so cool to have, like, the likes of you here, right, and get you pacing me from to the finish line, and like, that's going to be such a cool buzz, you know what I mean. I'm as excited for that part of the race as I am the rest of the race, you know.
Yeah, all right. what impact does jet lag have on race prep? I don't think.
Yeah, but that's I think that's a question you can answer now that you may think you'd have, or that you have, that you're just off the plane now. Because for me, I have no jet lag. I'm here 3 weeks. If I've got jet lag, there's something seriously wrong.
You're nearly American at this point.
Yeah.
Jet lag. I mean, jet lag. Change in diet, dry air. I had to go to the chemist today and buy like a spray for the nose because my nostrils are all cut and bloody inside. So there's a lot of adjustment to be had. Then there's the altitude of being running up in Palisades all week. So fresh off the plane, altitude, jet lag, different diet, sleeping on a couch. Oh man, life is rough.
Yeah, but it's a good point, right? So I wouldn't say that question is for me, right? But it is for everybody else if you're planning a race that is abroad in America or somewhere hot and somewhere at altitude, because all those effects that he has now, I had when I first came here. And like, I'm 3 weeks here now. Now I feel great. But the first week I was here, the altitude was kicking my ass. The heat was kicking my ass. I kind of had almost like an altitude head cold, if you know what I mean, where I felt really dry inside and I was like full of crap, and I felt like that the air was so hard to breathe, and not because of the altitude, because of the heat. But now, because I'm here 3 weeks, and I'm not saying everybody has to come here for 3 weeks, but if you are planning a race abroad, you need to try and get out at least 10 days before the race. If you're planning on racing well and not have an excuse to quit, because these are all other little things you can do to make your race better. Is if you can get out into the environment that you're going to be racing in 10 days out from a race, by the time race day comes around, you're good as gold, you know?
Yeah, totally. Look, the only race that I try to get into in the States is Hard Rock, and if I get into Hard Rock at some point, I will be out in the San Juans for a month.
Yeah.
And it'll finish at the race and then go home. Need to get acclimatized again. It would be dry, altitude. You know, I think that is more important than being out here for the training.
Yeah,
because you can replicate the grades and the terrain in other places. But great points by you. But let's keep this show moving because we've got lots to talk about. What's it been like living in the US for how many weeks now?
So I'm here 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. Yeah. Oh, look, I've loved it. You know, like I have loved it, and I don't know. Maybe there's another question that, like, have I done anything other than run since I got here? Not really, because yeah, like I'm here to train, and this place is just trail heaven. You know, so you've got like Tahoe Rim Trail is only like less than an hour away. I've got the Palisades about an hour away. I've been to Auburn. I've ran on the Forest Hill trails. I've ran up at Michigan Bluff. I've ran out the back garden of this man's house in the desert. Everywhere is just amazing to run on, you know. So for someone like me that just loves running, this is heaven.
Yeah, totally. Next question. Any race icons you're excited to meet? I'll take it first. Look, that's not my vibe. Whenever I saw Killian in the airport, I sent a picture into the Trail Talk WhatsApp, like, look who's behind me. And I sent it to my wife as well. And she's like, I hope you got a picture. Not a hope in hell would I go up to anyone and ask for a picture. That is like anti-vibes. I'm just happy to, you know, be a fan of somebody. I don't need a selfie. Like, also, your worst pictures are also selfies as well. So I don't need that. I think you probably feel the same way. Like, why would you go up to somebody and get a picture with a competitor? You're there competing too.
Yeah, like there is a cool aspect to it. Like, I love seeing the likes of Jim Walmsley, who I have seen. I've seen him at the weekend. I've seen Vincent. I've seen Tim Tollefson hanging around.
We were talking to Dan.
We were talking to Dan, and that's what I love about it. It's like that. Me and you were talking to Dan Jones. Dan Jones is like one of the favourites for this race, and Dan Jones is talking to us just like a guy, just like a normal dude.
We're just talking about running.
Yeah.
We're not going up and looking for a selfie.
Exactly, and at the end of the day, they're like superstars in the trail running world, but they're just guys and girls that are doing exactly what we're doing. You know, they're the same as anyone else. You can hold a conversation with them and you can have a bit of crack with them, and that's what I think is what is so cool about most of them. Most of them are very approachable. They'll have the chat with you, they'll have the crack with you, and then they'll rip it up on the trails.
Yeah. Dan fucking Jones.
Watch out. I'm telling you, he's going to do something special.
Absolutely, yeah. See a few comments coming through in the chat. A couple of them there. Look, if you see us, you're going to see me crewing and pacing, so definitely come up and say hello. Race focus is the next section I've got here. And this question I put in, because I've been talking to them about this, but I think we need to share it. Are you going to run to the top of the escarpment on race day?
Are you going to run to the top of the escarpment on race day to see me?
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, I have to go to the top of the escarpment for the vibes.
Yeah.
And it turns it into a double day for me.
Yeah.
So I'll do, how far is it?
It's like
4K?
More. I suppose 4K, 4.5, 5K max. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Well, then I'll be doing what? 50K?
Yeah.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
Sweet. Sure, it's the least I could do.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like, because he is crewing me, and he's crewing me and pacing me. He's going to be in the sun all day, and he's got to go up the escarpment at the start. So it's a pretty rough day for him too. But you have to be at the escarpment, like, because that's where the vibes are. Because I'm super excited to get up there, because that's where all this, like, there'll be a crowd of people. I took pictures the other day, there was nobody on it, but now that's going to be full of people roaring and clapping and cheering. And I think from there then, that's when you know I'm in Western States, you know.
Michelle's in the chat here. Michelle, you're meant to be working. Right, let's keep it going. Look, the escarpment will be mad crack. This is Western States. I have to be up there.
Yeah.
We'll sleep on Sunday. Next question. We need to talk about goals. We need to talk about times, paces, effort. What can you put out there about the race?
Yeah, and I suppose the way I'd approach this is what I've already said, is that I want to make sure that I enjoy the day, right? I want to make sure that I soak this in, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? To be at Western States. I know that people will give their right leg, hand, arm, everything to be in this race, right? So I want to make sure that I enjoy it. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to push the gas, you know. Like, at the end of the day, I am competitive. I want to do well. I want to make people proud. There's X amount of Irish people that have ran this race over the years. Nobody has ever ran this race in under 20 hours. So I would love to run this race and be the first Irish person to run under 20 hours. I think I can do that. And if all goes well on the day, I'd like to be in around that 17 hours. And who knows where that'll put me in the field. Again, they're two big goals. I want to finish around 17 hours, but I also want to try and get as close as I possibly can to that top 20, you know. Now, who knows if those two things line up? I don't know, you know, and we'll find out on the day. But I need to make sure that I manage myself well. I get through the race as far as Forest Hill at least with some legs, and then hopefully get to the river, meet you, and you take me home, and that's it. And take me home running. No walking, take me home running.
No. I'm ready for tempo work. I'm ready to do some tempo. And if I have to run with a higher RPE than a normal long run, it means it's a good day for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it means.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
we'll get it done. And what parts of the course are you looking forward to? You've seen a lot of it, so what's good? What are you looking forward to seeing on the day?
Yeah, like for anyone that does like downhill running, this course is for you, right? So, and I love downhill running. I love climbing, but I love downhill running. And the section, even though this section has like 1,000 meters of climbing in it, over 25k, which doesn't sound like it's a downhill race, there is tons of downhill running in it. So we're talking from Devil's Thumb all the way down to Michigan Bluff and all the way to Forest Hill. There is so much downhill fun running to be done in that section, and I'm really looking forward to that section. But I'm also looking forward to that section from Forest Hill down to the river, because there's more descending in that. The trail is like all single track for a lot of it. Again, it's just fun, fast, unbelievably historical trails that are just ready for your legs to go fast on. And that's why you need to manage yourself really well in this race so that you do have legs to run on. Because I don't want to be leaving America saying, man, I can't believe I was walking on that section. I need to be moving and moving quick on that.
Yeah, I see Chris in the chat, and I think it's a good moment to mention that we hear a lot on the live stream, on the commentary, and on social media about Rucky Chucky. It's Rucka Chucky.
Yeah.
Rucka Chucky. So you got to respect the place and its original names. So that's what it is, and repeat it, and don't repeat the lies.
Yeah,
right?
I have to laugh just on that. I say, my wife, I was talking to my wife today, and she says, I know nothing about this race, as in like what you do or that, and she says, you have to cross a river in this race, and it's a huge river. I said, yeah, we have to cross. I says, when the river's high, we get a boat across, and when the river's low, you just hang on to a rope and pull yourself across. So she's very worried about that section. But let me reassure you, the water is very low. I know I'm small, but I can swim.
How low is it?
At the minute, it's probably like up to my waist, maybe, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
What about the weather? Weather forecast? It looks like for those that didn't see on the gram, there was a storm come in on Saturday, and runs were aborted. The 46k was cancelled, but luckily the top contenders had all finished. But there was
300 people. There was 300 people that had to be like brought down off the mountain because the race was cancelled. I was actually up on the top. I was actually doing a recce. I was down the other side of the escarpment on the Western States Trail, and then it started, like I seen the weather coming, and then it started to snow, and on the way back it just got a bit heavier. Huge bit of thunder, huge bit of lightning, and I was told that the lightning struck one of the buildings in the village, and that's why they had to actually evacuate it. Yeah, but when I was running down, I was like going, yeah, I need to get off this mountain fast, you know. So I was bombing down the hill. It was great because I got a downhill workout in. But I mean, the lightning was cracking around the place. It was insane, yeah. But now, bit of a turnaround in the weather, so it was really cold. It was like, what, 11 degrees?
Well, the low on Saturday, Sunday was 0.
Yeah.
Or close to 0 C, which is, what, like 30, high 30s?
Yeah.
In Fahrenheit. But then this week, it's stepping up a degree each day. So on Saturday, it's going to hit 32 C, which is, I don't know, what is that, 90 or something?
Yeah, it's around 90 degrees here. I think it's around that anyway, yeah. Yeah, look, but the thing is, it's going to be 33 degrees, right? And that's hot. It's very, very hot. But in the canyons, it's going to feel way hotter. It's going to feel more like, I'd say more like 38 degrees, something like that, Celsius. So maybe like close to 100 Fahrenheit.
That's like 38 is mental.
Yeah.
That's like running in, I mean, that's a little bit cooler than running in Dubai.
Yeah. It's like running in an oven. That's what it is. And like it's just hot air, and the hot air is rising. So you have the heat coming down on top of you from the sun, but then you also have the heat rising from the ground, and like it's hitting that red dirt as well, and that red dirt it just sort of like turns the whole place into an oven. Now look, I did see enough of the course to see where there is shelter, and I'm hoping that shelter helps to maybe keep me wet longer and keep the ice from melting faster, if you know what I mean. So look, I'm always glass half full guy, right? Yeah, it's going to be hot, but I'm going to stay cool. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. And like the thing with that is, even when it was 4 and 5 degrees Celsius, when you're in the sun, it didn't feel cold. So imagine if it's 33, 32, and you're in the sun, it's going to have an even, it's just going to have a major effect on that as well. So the tree cover at times, and always staying wet, so you're getting that natural kind of cooling from the air. Because there is a little bit of wind.
I was going to say.
There's a wind forecast, so we looked up the forecast, and there was like maybe 15 mile an hour gusts, which doesn't sound great, but it'll be nice if the t-shirt's wet, so that'll be good.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like if that is a little bit of wind coming through, that's just going to keep you cooler longer. So nothing to fear.
Yeah. All right, moving on, next section. Couple of fun ones. Getting close to the end of the show. Thanks everyone for sticking with us. let's wrap it up with some fun stuff and then a few other announcements that we have got. Ricky, what's your soundtrack for an epic Western States moment? I don't know. Like, someone submitted this question. It'd be disrespectful if we didn't ask the question. So go for it.
Yeah, again, the name of this artist has slipped my mind because I only got it from you yesterday. So Aaron sent me. We were listening to tunes heading over to the Palisades the other day, and this angry tune came on. And I just thought it was very fitting.
Oh, yeah. So,
and I was listening to it on my easy run today, even though like it was only an easy run. But I mean, you tell me, who is that?
so it was a SoundCloud. It was a live DJ mix from Carl Craig, the godfather of techno. And yeah, absolute banging mix. Great. We'll stick it in... Where can we share it? We'll share it in the broadcast channel.
Yeah.
And we'll share it in the Trail Talk WhatsApp if anyone wants it. It's a couple of hours long.
It's a 2.5 hour mix, so it is. So, you only need to stick that on repeat. And it'll do you the whole of Western States. if I was going to wear headphones in Western States, I'd be listening to these tunes.
Yeah. And for me,
yeah,
I mean, whenever I come to America, I just think about... Like, we grew up in a time when American TV was everywhere. And like 80s and 90s shows and stuff. And I like that tune, Real American. The Hulk Hogan's theme tune is how I think about it. But that's proper American for me. So like, I'm only disappointed that I don't have a cowboy hat. I would walk around here with a cowboy hat.
But talking about cowboy hats, we're heading to the rodeo tonight. So we're doing something super American. So Chris and Michelle both got us tickets to the rodeo tonight. So there's a chance to wear a cowboy hat.
If there's cowboy hats on offer, I'll be wearing it, and you'll see it on the gram. So
cowboy hats and belt buckles. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Western States belt buckles and cowboy hats.
Hell yeah. Well, that kind of wraps us into our cool things that we're gonna do, because apart from running and eating tacos and just absorbing the trail running stoke and atmosphere in Palisades, it's the rodeo.
Yeah.
And then after the race, I mean, we're going home after a couple of days. But next week, we will do a wrap-up post-race show on Monday, same time next week, which will basically be the day after we get back from Auburn. So fresh in our minds, and we'll do a full debrief on that. How do you feel?
Yeah, look, again, just even listen to you say Auburn, me say Forest Hill, we talk about the Ruckachucky River. Like, these names mean so much to me that, like, I don't need any more fuel to this fire. I am so excited to race this race.
It's gonna be epic, and we have to thank Chris and Michelle for putting us up. We've got the dogs. There's a wee Jack Russell Piggy, my favourite. It's been absolutely amazing, and we're looking forward to getting through to race week. Couple of shout outs for community members that raced. Zach smashed his Bob Graham round, come in an hour under projected time in some tricky weather as well. Robbie, unfortunately, DNF'd the West Island Way at 120k.
Yeah. Nearly
there.
Broken foot,
apparently, stress fracture or something.
Ouch.
And it's 95 miles, so he probably had 30k to go. So yeah, you break it. And then good luck to Matthias, who's over at Lavaredo this weekend. From us, make sure you get in your Trail Talk League Fantasy Free Trail picks. Lavaredo, Mont Blanc,
awesome
90k, and Western States. So lots to play there. And last thing, make sure you tune into the Free Trail, I should say Western States live stream. And we want to see the horse and the Irish Shamrock emojis in the live stream chat for the Irish Dark Horse, Ricky Wynn.
We got a flag.
So, on that note, we'll see you on the other side.
Peace.